Hi everyone, welcome to Music Monday. My name is Benjamin, and if you've been around the channel before and have watched any of my videos, you're probably looking around wondering what happened to the set and why haven't you uploaded in 3 months? And it's because I moved to Canada. I have the flag in the background here. Don't worry, it's just for a couple of months, but I'll be spending some time here in Canada and I didn't have the time to upload yet, but I heard the new Cab For Cutie album, Asphalt Meadows, and we do have to talk about it.
Here in the Asphalt Meadows.
This is the 10th studio album by the American indie rock band, indie pop rock band, whatever you want to call them, Cab For Cutie, and it comes after some hard times for the band in terms of albums and how they were perceived by fans and critics. There were a lot of albums that not a lot of fans had a lot of love for. That's a lot. Kintsugi in 2015 was kind of too slow for a lot of fans. Then Thank You For Today was too pop for a lot of fans and especially for some critics. I personally don't dislike the records. I actually have some of my favorites on both of these albums and I like them a lot, but not really as high in the highlight scale as, say, Transatlanticism or Narrow Stairs were for sure. So can they bounce back with this new album? This is what everybody's been wondering, and the answer to that question is absolutely yes. On this new album the band sounds energetic and powerful. Again, it's not that this has been a staple or even a must for the entirety of their career, but it's such a show of force when they open an album with I Don't Know How to Survive, and the opening is so chill, and then they go into the chorus on that monster of an opener and you're just like, BAM! Yeah, this is Cab For Cutie, we are here, we have something to say. And they do have something to say on a lot of these songs that touch on very important issues. This album is largely, not exclusively, but largely inspired by the pandemic, what it did to Ben Gibbard in particular, but also what it did to us as human beings, this time of isolation, this state of total opposite of normality. We see that on the opener, I Don't Know How to Survive, with the very apparent themes of being alone, being in isolation, and we also touch upon that in the first single, Roman Candles. And here's a fun fact for you. I actually recorded and uploaded an entire reaction video for Roman Candles, and if you're thinking, wait, I must have missed that. No, you didn't. It got blocked worldwide immediately after uploading it, so that video exists. Never to see the light of day, but here's the face I made because the song is really good. It's got this amazing kind of crescendo-y thing at the end that the entirety of the song builds towards, and lyrically this is just very beautiful, which is a theme for the entirety of the album. This is the best that Cab For Cutie lyrics have been since Narrow Stairs, easily. There are some big highlights here, like the entirety of Roman Candles is just beautifully covered in metaphors. The title track has so much depth, and one of my favorite lines here is this one.
There's a name written on your cast of the bruised and broken bones. Tells everybody that you meet to whom the damage is owed.
Especially the way that it then slowly gets into the chorus. This is a really amazing transition, and we have a very similar, very great transition on the next song in the track list with probably my favorite lyrics of the album. This is the right here on Rand McNally.
You tell these stories with happy endings only when interrupted before they're over.
That's such a lyric that really hits you in the face and makes the chorus transition so smooth and enjoyable and gives you something to digest what you just heard and to understand what you just heard. And the same can be said for the opening of Here to Forever, with the really cool opening lines, Keep Falling in Love with Bones and Ashes, with the connection to the very first line. In general, this album has possibly the best lyrics of the year so far. There might be one album that ties it, but so far this is absolute lyrical top-notch level here. There's a beauty in the words and the way they are presented on this album. It really makes you fall in love with the melodies and the very simplistic instrumentation that can be seen here, that makes it so much more impactful when you actually listen to what they're saying. It also makes it so much more impactful when certain elements are added, because there are not as many instruments playing at all times. So when they do then switch it up and when there are new elements coming in, you can really feel the impact of that, like on Weed Like Waves, for example.
there's no way I'd survive the winters in Saskatchewan are so cold.
There really are no lyrical misses on this album, and the entirety of the soundscape fits together very well. There are a lot of songs on here that allow the band members to shine way more than Kintsugi or Thank You For Today allowed them, because they are so much more diverse in what they are offering on this album. On Kintsugi you had the very slow, more acoustic guitar heavy songs that didn't really give much room to other band members, and then obviously on Thank You For Today you had the very processed and very studio, pop, indie, kind of rock vibes. In a lot of ways, Asphalt Meadows feels less polished in an attempt to get someone else to like it. It feels a lot more honest and raw, and like they are speaking from the bottom of their heart, not to please anyone but themselves. And in my experience, that's always when I think that bands are doing the best that they possibly can, and when they write the best songs that they possibly can. And at their best is definitely where we see Cab For Cutie here, with some of these songs of course being somewhat reminiscent to their earlier work, but also some cuts going into new territory, feeling like they reinvent themselves. If you listen to The Closer, for example, and the opening electronics, it's something that they've never done before like that. Then at the end, the orchestral elements coming in for that very same song. That's really great. Then you have two of the best songs on here, Foxglove Through the Clearcut, which by the way is easily one of the best songs of all time by Cab For Cutie. Just phenomenal masterpiece altogether, with the way the story progresses and certain elements are always elevated. Chills, literal chills for this song. This like post-rock vibe is also something they've never done before, post-rock spoken word. It's really cool. And then you also have a song like I Miss Strangers, which of course is an indie song, so it's not too heavy, but the same song, although performed entirely different, could have been written by a band like Rise Against with a little more punk instrumentation. The same basis could have been taken into a punk song. I do have to say that I feel like there's one song that doesn't quite A, live up to the rest of the album, and B, fit in anywhere, and that's Fragments from the Decade, which again has nice lyrics and is by no means a bad song. It's just not quite on par with anything else that we've seen on this album, and sounds to me more like a B-side from Kintsugi. It really is the only song here that I tend to skip, and again, it's not bad and I don't mind it. I would just rather listen to anything else on the album because the quality is so much higher. Another thing that I wish this album did was for Ben Gibbard to go out more with his voice. If you look back at the album Transatlanticism, their magnum opus, and you listen to songs like Tiny Vessels or We Looked Like Giants, he did go for these rather full-out performances where he really uses his voice and utilizes his voice to the fullest, as opposed to some cuts on Asphalt Meadows, like the opener, for example, that would call with the crazy guitars in the chorus for a more outwards and more dare approach to the vocal side, but then still is met with the kind of more low tuned and chill and the that Ben Gibbard does, and he does it so well, and it doesn't hurt the songs at all. It's just that I feel like there's some opportunities here that got left on the roadside, because if you listen back to songs like We Looked Like Giants and you hear what he did with his voice back then, I personally feel like that vocal style would have fit Asphalt Meadows in some places and would have elevated the album even more. But just to be clear, Asphalt Meadows is definitely a strong statement, a soothing and calming record that is also not afraid to show heavier themes within itself, and really goes to show that even after 10 albums, a band can redefine what they sound like within a certain scope, of course. But this is probably top 3 albums of theirs, I'm not gonna lie. That's at least my opinion, and that all goes to show you that I would rate this album a strong 9 out of 10. One of the best albums of the year so far. 2 other albums that are also fighting for the title Best Album of the Year. You can check the reviews out right here.